welcome to our new Mik Artistik's Ego podcast. We'll be bringing you chat, insight, nonsense, laughter, music and a few surprises. You can find out about our current activities, gigs, release news at mikartistik.com and on Facebook at Mik Artistik's Ego Trip, as well as plenty of footage on our YouTube channel. You can follow us on Twitter at Mik Artistik and at Jonny Ego Trip and at Ego Trip News. Welcome to podcast number 5. On today's episode, Jonny and I are joined by Andy McVeigh, also known as the Burley Banksy. He's a street artist and he paints electric boxes, many of them celebrating the trials and triumphs of Leeds United. This interview was recorded in August 2020, just after Leeds won promotion to the Premier League. And on today's podcast, we'll be talking about Bielsa the Redeemer, drumming in bands, playing in a band with Jon Moss, the Premiership referee, struggles with depression, and the joy of painted electric boxes, and the positive response of Leeds United and the whole city to Andy's work. Here we are in my telly room, posh room, visitors and Sunday best room, and we're just sitting here and Andy's in his working clothes. He's got paint on his trousers.
I'm in a full tuxedo, don't lie.
And he's got his cheap watch on and,
It's a cheap watch.
and a frayed baseball hat, and he's just trying really hard to be an artist.
I'm feeling miserably.
Really insecure, has to dress up as one. Whereas I'm just dressing as I've got my blue check shirt on and my mountain boots.
You've been hiking
I'm
again.
comfortable with my position in life.
I've been painting this morning, I don't have an excuse. I've been painting a
So
Bielsa.
tell us about what you've been painting this morning.
I've been doing a Bielsa canvas because we've got promoted. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. Leeds have finally done it. I've been swamped by Bielsa orders to paint the Great Messiah at Beeston. So I've been just painting in Bielsa We Trust canvases over and over again. And I've just done one this morning and posted it off. So yeah.
Are you working with, is it Nicholas Dixon? Is it?
Yeah, I'm meant to be, next week, this week actually, depends on weather, but me and Nicholas Dixon, who's this amazing artist from Leeds who's done stuff all over the world, we're going to do something down in Wortley in conjunction with this TV house and football pitch that they're trying to save for the community. So we're going to do a Leeds United themed mural on the side of this pet shop in Wortley. It's massive. I've never done out that big before, and I've never worked with another artist, especially a proper artist, so I am slightly daunted by the whole thing. But Nick says, "Don't worry about it, lad, it'll be right." So
well, we met up. We all met up last week because they had their campaign to sort of get we got the Sunday Mail photographer come down.
Yeah, a bit like that.
He took a shot of like all these local campaigners or local people who wanted this ground to stay open, and you and Nicholas were there, and I saw some of his work. He showed us some on his phone, and it's really extraordinary. Some really unusual abstract stuff, and
it's beautiful.
He's been all over the world doing it. But he sounds like he just lives next door to you,
He does.
He's the boy next door.
He's broad Leeds, and that helped in a way, because if he'd have been like some pretentious artist and I had to do some stuff with him, I'd have been even more overawed by it all. But he's proper. He's just a Leeds bloke who's ended up doing this. He's worked in New York, Australia. He went to Australia to paint a kangaroo. Not a live one, obviously, fiberglass. But yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? What you can achieve, really, and I don't think I'll end up like him, but it'd be ace to work with him. I'm gonna get as many tips as I can off him. Do you know what I mean?
No, I was intrigued by it, and it was just nice. The three of us been out there on this pitch, and he managed to kick the ball about.
We did.
And I ended up with some brownies in a Tupperware container, and this woman came over. This woman Claire, because they invited me to come over, and she handed me this box of Tupperware brownies, and I said, "What are these?" She said, "Oh, these are for you." And I said, "Why?" It's because you're a celeb.
Is that what she said?
Local celeb. So
you get
I think, well, Andy's a local celeb, and he never got any buttons. So obviously, there's a kind of a tier system going on there. So.
Maybe I just get like a Twix or something.
Well, you came round, you got an egg sandwich.
I did get an egg sandwich, made by you.
He came round to my house and I made him a double egg sandwich. And this is before he was famous, and now he's been on an Adidas commercial now or something.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, that were a bit weird. It's amazing how cool they can make you look with fancy lights and mood lighting
Oh,
and all, and slow motion. I was just walking down with this painting in my hand, and I looked like I've been to RADA, to perfect this and all this kind of stuff. I had to do 10 takes of it, and I'm going, lads, I don't think I could give you any more. It's just me walking with a tin of paint in my hand. I don't know how you want me to project this anymore.
It was like Ian Brown meets Al Pacino. Bloody hell, he looks well there.
It's a good way of putting it, yeah. But it was interesting. I've never done like that before. Do you know what I mean?
So this is like Leeds United, like television or something.
I think so. Well, Leeds United having Adidas next year out there, which is quite a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Kit launches and all that, isn't it? And they've never had Adidas before, so that's quite a big deal. And they just rang us up and said their new tagline is "Ready for Sport." Apparently, I think that's across the world. So they said they wanted me to do "Ready for Leeds" because obviously they're ready for Premier League, ready for us to make our shirts and all that. So I just had to do paint "Ready for Leeds United" in South Stand, and made it look a lot more moody and cool than it actually was.
Yeah. No, I'm really chuffed for you, Andy, because I can remember you ringing me up last August, or I rang you up because there'd been some nonsense happen where you'd been doing these electric boxes. And Andy paints electric boxes around the area, and a lot of them dedicated to Leeds United, and they're cool and they're mischievous, and they've got a bit of wit about them, and they're tidy, and they're not kind of in your face. They're slight and the Leeds. And they're just cool. And some prick had just gone and painted over them in black and left a really. And well, you tell the story.
Well, it was just out of the blue. He decided, this guy, and he wrote quite sinister anonymous emails to Evening Post and to me kind of privately as well, saying that I was a childish, obsessive vandal, and 95% of people in Leeds weren't interested in the football team, and it was ruining the area and all this kind of stuff. And I was covering up graffiti as well, and I was doing it for note, and I was doing it just to, I don't know, thought people would like it. And so
why did you start doing it initially? Why did you start painting on the?
It's a long story, but we get loads of graffiti where I live in Burley. I started covering that up with just pictures of flowers and trees and stuff with my mate Ellen, and then I was just walking to the ground one day to match, and you see all these boxes, and I thought, you could paint these, with Leeds United, like make a sort of pathway to the stadium, and I've always loved Leeds. Leeds has got a right good history of design, because we invented the replica kit, first team had replica kit, and that smiley badge is quite iconic.
Is it replica like another colour kit sort of thing?
The ones that people buy. We were the first ever team to have shirts that you could buy. 1974 or something, and originally just with kids, and obviously now that's a multi-gazillion pound business across the world, isn't it? But we always had cool badges and stuff, and cool tracky tops and all that, and I've always been into all that. I've always been into music and clothes, and I love the Beatles and the clothes that they wore and the cool logos and the rubber sole, all that kind of design stuff.
There's a lovely box that you've done of it. It's just like a cassette tape.
Yeah,
and it's beautiful, and the box is the size, but it's like an oversized oblong cassette tape, and he's painted the spools on it, and it's just it just resonates.
I just love I still play tapes in my van, which is probably quite embarrassing these days, but I just love the physicality of the tape and the way it looks, and I love the whole mixtape history.
It's just complete. It's a really nice design, and it's not too spiky. You've got two little. It's quite comforting. It's got a nice little box and two little circles in the middle, and you can write. You can put like folk songs of Morley.
Yeah, your favourite ones. Yeah. I love tapes because they were made with love, weren't they? Mixtapes were made with love for your best mate or your girlfriend or this girl you were trying to cop off with, or do you know what I mean? And I used to spend hours, and then I'd do inlay card. I would get a tiny pen and spend hours doing inlay card with songs and stuff like that, and I think they're kind of a lost art now, aren't they?
You used to have them stereos with like 2 tapes on, so you'd play one and record it.
Didn't you? I've still got my tapes to tape.
Went into it,
I've still got my tapes to tape deck. I know it's embarrassing, isn't it? But
I've got one next door. There's a little CD player. It's got like two cassette tape boxes, so you can presumably record from one to the other. But
I mean, I've got ex-girlfriends who's, you know, we've fallen out and all that. They probably hate me, but they've always said, I can't throw them tapes away that you made me. I can't do it, because I know you spent so much time and love doing it. That even though I can't...
It's an honour to get something like that. And, you know, I did one for my little daughter Bella, and because she was, and I asked her what she liked, and I found out that her kind of her hit list were Boris Pickett and the Crypt Crickers with the Monster Mash. She liked Hit Me With Your Rhythm. This one she's about 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick. She had Mariah Carey, I think it was like Trapeze or something it was called, or something.
Mixture.
And there was a Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun.
Yeah.
And Nevermind. There was Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah.
So just a selection of. But I remember just spending a lot of time writing out, making it nice and tidy. And my writing can be a bit crap, but I really worked on making it nice. And if you mess up, it's like, oh jeez, you know.
Yeah,
so you have to be really careful because Tipex looks crap on that little paper kind of.
I used to spend hours. I think maybe that was the first type of art I'd done, which I was quite good at calligraphy type stuff. I can't. If you asked me to draw that lampshade, I couldn't do it. But I used to be quite good at that, so I'd spend hours doing this sort of beautiful lettering for this girl that I fancied, or this girl that were going out with, or whatever. And I took right pride in it and stuff. And like I said, and occasionally you'd get one for you. You know, recently this lad got in touch with me who'd seen the Burley Banksy stuff. He's a big Luton Town fan, and he'd seen the Leeds artwork, and he'd finally made it because we were pen pals in about 1990. I know, I mean that's insane. I know there was something back at NME that said, you know, I don't know, like anyone into the indie music, do you want to? So we started conversing, me and this lad. We were 20. And then I went down to Luton, and he came up to Leeds. We went to a few gigs together, and he made me a couple of mixtapes. So when he got in touch with me, I went, bloody hell, it's you, can't believe it. And I've still got them tapes. So I sent him WhatsApp pictures of him. He was like, I can't believe you still got that tape. Yeah. And his writings on it, and he coloured cards in and all that stuff. Yeah. And it's like a beautiful little connection we've still got, do you know what I mean? And he's got the ones I made for him.
Because you can basically put a lot of effort and stuff into it. It's not just like you can't really draw on a CD cover. I mean, no, you know, but there's something about sort of there's a fair bit of work that the listener can do, you know, in decorating cardboard sort of cover.
God, yeah. And there was a knack of, like, you know, the first song had to be a good opening song. That you had to choose the right song to finish the tape off with. Yeah. I used to make quiet ones for my girlfriend, so late night ones that were all quiet songs, you know, that would get her off to sleep on a night, and then you'd have loud ones, so you're going to go out on a Friday night, kind of tape and all that.
Got dancey tape, chill tape.
Yeah, so all that, I loved it. And
I just remember now that I used to get little postcards. You get these free postcards down in town, sort of quite nice design sort of postcards. I remember one that just said Shag Pile on it, and I used to like basically just use them as the cassette cover.
Right.
So, you know, instead of just having like the TDK cover, I'd get a really nice kind of weird, quirky, psychedelic postcard and cut it and then just fold it and then have that as so it was just a visual coffee table seat cassette, you know, you could have there.
It cost a fortune with them now, some trendy
furniture. Yeah.
I've got a really nice idea. I'm going to do a Leeds United mixtape one at top of Wesley Street in Beeston that overlooks Ellen Road, overlooks Stadium. So I've done it all blank, ready to go. But then when we got promoted and won league, I thought this could be like Leeds United Champions 2020 tape. And I thought down the sides I'll do, instead of like track listing, I'll try and recreate like a, you know, the lined thing that you'd write the name of the songs on the card thing. I'll put like some songs we've sung this year, you know, in tribute to players and that kind of thing. So I thought that might be quite nice. I mean, the kids won't know what the hell it is, and Dad will have to tell them what it all means up way to ground. But I thought that'd be quite nice.
So which was your first box that you painted? Which street was it on? Leeds
United one or non-Leeds United one?
Well, which was the very first one you did?
I think the first one were on, God, it might have been on St Michael's Lane, I'm not sure. But it'll have been changed now because they get ruined quite a lot and we have to paint over them and do them again. But me and Ellen just started doing like flowery ones, probably St Michael's Lane or Burley Road, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was up there this morning. I went to the Headingley phone repair shop and I think I saw a couple and I was thinking, is that the Burley Banksy? Is that, you know, there was some with like a purple box, I think, and it had like little, possibly like little circles on it or something.
Ah, that's Rachel. So Rachel's she said, I met Rachel, and she lives in Kirkstone, and she's sort of taken my idea and wanted to do some of her own. So she started doing ones around near Kirkstone. Some of them are like environmental messagey ones, but they've got ruined by people who don't
like the environment.
Didn't like the environment or whatever, yeah, they trashed them. But she's done loads of those little ones that are only like 2 foot high, and she's put little ladybirds on them and funny little, and they're really cute, cute little sort of bits of niceness as you're driving through kind of thing. So it's nice because other people have kind of nicked the idea, but that's good, isn't it?
And they've all got the different styles.
Yeah.
When I was chatting to you, bringing you from Galway, there was in the city, Galway city, there's a lot of these boxes as well, and people have been decorating them, and we had, whoever was there, there was a lot of kind of psychedelic sort of, more kind of, let's say, people who are really good at sort of figures and stuff.
Right,
so they were like kind of serious artists. Painters. So there was like pictures of old women and stuff, and people playing bagpipes and stuff, painting on these like kind of parking metery things. And I'm thinking it's great. It's because it kind of makes the environment more human. You're in a big city, you're in the middle of it, and there's all these houses and stuff. And just have something that breaks the kind of the brickwork, and breaks the double glazing, and you just see this little box that's got like some ladybirds on it that are done, and they're not drawn very well, but there's just something quite heartening about it.
Yeah. It's a little bit of, like, a little bit of love again that's gone into your community, innit? And I think they've been done across the. I mean, I've seen pictures. They've been done abroad for years. I didn't know, but I think people have painted these boxes for years. I don't think it's my original idea or anything. My mate goes to see his girlfriend a lot in Portugal, and he sends me pictures back. Oh, there's one here in Lisbon and stuff like that. So I think it's been done for a long time. But it's just nice. It's been lovely. And people just say it just cheers me up. I'm sat in the car on Kirkstone Road Monday morning, feeling miserable, going to work, and I see one of your little boxes, and it just lifts me a bit, and you think, well, that's really nice, isn't it?
The thing is, and it's almost like it's so small and so inconsequential, but the thing is, them are the things that are really important.
Yeah, I think,
it's just a little thing like a smile, or I was sitting in my mate's garden and I saw this bee just going up into like a flower petal or whatever, and I just stopped for a minute thinking, it's not magnificent. and it's basically, it's not kind of computer graphics or virtual reality.
A real
bee. Just kind of.
It's not CGI.
and I just, because I was chatting, I had to stop for a minute to watch this bee just do his work, and I'm just thinking, that's fucking lovely. It really kind of amazes me. So, and then you get back to.
You'd never guess you were a songwriter, Mick. You'd never guess you were a songwriter, honestly.
Did you not set out initially to do the football things?
No, like I said, I was going to get one day, and I thought, there's a box there, and then I thought, I could do one, and then I thought, you can make a pathway to the stadium eventually, couldn't you? And I go to the ground, there's loads of different ways you can go, and I thought, there's a box there. So I did one, and that didn't put it on Twitter out, and then I did the Gary Speed one, and that sort of went a little bit viral because Gary Speed's in tragic circumstances and he played for lots of clubs, so I think it went across the country, and then people said, do another, and then I just thought it'd be nice. I'm a primary school teacher, so I thought it'd be nice for kids to go, who was Gary Speed, Dad, or what's that smiley badge, because that's before their time and all that, like a little history lesson on way to the ground almost, like a Leeds United history lesson.
There's an obvious intelligence to that stuff, and you look at it, and the wording and stuff is thoughtful, it's poetic, and it has a bit of wit about it, and sometimes it's just 2 words like Vinny. And for those people that are walking past who aren't football fans, they're not sure, they probably don't know what it means, but to a certain part of the population, this stuff is like a code.
Yes.
And it's like a sort of and it's a beautiful code. It's like, and it's lovely to see it because you think, I'm part of this club. I understand. It's like knowing the lyrics to like Led Zeppelin Falls, like track 5 on on whatever they call
It's a bit one of those subtle if you know things, isn't it? And I think I've always liked that. Like if I've got a picture of the Beatles in my house, I don't want it to say the Beatles on it because it's too obvious. Do you know what I mean? So I think the first one was the.
It's more, you're more than that. You know, you're
Yeah.
part of the inner circle now. You don't just say, "Oh, here's the Beatles. They're on my wall." It's like, "Oh, yeah."
We know who they are, don't we? It's kind of like I've got a Rubber Soul sticker on the back of my van, and I love the fact that album cover just said Rubber Soul and it didn't say the Beatles on it. And my first one was Until the World Stops Going Round, which is that line from Match On Together, and you'd only know that if you're a Leeds fan kind of thing, wouldn't you? And we'll follow them until the world stops going round. So I quite like that kind of, and I thought we kind of deserve that because we've had so much sort of horribleness for 16 years, and I just thought it would be nice to cheer people up on the way to the ground because it hadn't been a cheery experience walking to Allen Road for a long time.
So when did the club start noticing your work and get in touch?
They got in touch when they got ruined. Like Mik was saying, that guy painted over them for his whatever slightly warped reasons, and then they got in touch and said, right, we'll give you some. We want them back up because we've realised that they kind of mean something to people, and and Bielsa brought this optimism, didn't he, as well, and we were starting to have a bit of hope again, and that kind of. I don't think I'd have painted them without Bielsa coming because you wouldn't have had that inclination. He gave you just that touch of hope that things were getting good again, and we wanted to be part of it. And they got in touch and said, "Oh, we want them back up. We'll give you £700 to repaint them. Take some days off supply and repaint them." And they've been great in lots of ways. I mean, me and Danny get in for free now, which is brilliant because it was 60 odd quid for me and Dan to go to every game, and I couldn't afford to go to every game. So they just said, "Oh yeah, just turn up and you can come in," which I nearly burst into tears when they said that. Do you know what I mean? And well, they've talked about. I was saying to you, Johnny, they've talked about me painting inside the stadium. So hopefully that'll happen because we had some meetings about that, painting the concourses, the walkways and stuff. The Norman Hunter stand. I've got some great ideas for painting pictures of Norman.
Oh, well, Norman, God rest
yeah,
him.
bless you. I was
And
gutted.
Jackie as well.
Yeah,
Mr. Charlton.
I know. I'd sort of seen. I don't know Norman, but I'd seen him at most games.
Well, he lived he had a little house round the corner just
Did he?
down at Christchurch, and I used to, a few years ago, I don't know whether he was like renting it out or something.
Right.
He used to be just down before one of the little sloping streets down at Stanley Road,
Right.
5 minutes walk from here. And I loved Hunter as a kid because he was left-footed and I was like left-footed, and I used to he had this funny little shimmy.
He did.
And then he sort of almost like what was that tennis player, the Spanish Nadal, yeah, who's got like these little ticks. He had this preparation before a shot. Well, Hunter had these little ticks where he had this kind of jiggy thing that he'd do with his shoulders and his feet, and I used to copy that because I think, oh, that's what you do because that's cool. And I remember it came. We went down to the ground or something, and the players were coming out in the suits and stuff, and they're a lot smaller in real life. They come out and they look like these little tiny little men. And Hunter came out and he's got his hair combed and stuff, and he's got his little lad, and his little lad's called Michael, and he's going, "Come on, Michael," And he just, I think, God, that's not Norman Hunter. He's like some little priest. He's this little kind of benign little man. He
were right warm. He did the corporate stuff at every game, But you felt like you knew. I'd see him in this little press room thing. You go at half time for a cup of coffee, and he'd be like, "All right, Norman," he go, "Right there, lads," and he'd sort of reckon he didn't know you were. He must have got a million people saying, but he'd like, 3 points here, mate. We're going to get 3 points today. Let's hope so, and all this kind of stuff. He was so desperate for us to go up, and I'm so. It's just that little bittersweet thing that he's missed it by just months, and he got bloody COVID, didn't he?
He's watching. He's probably watching.
Yeah, I know, but he was, and he used to punch the benches in the gantry thing, the commentator thing, with frustration and stuff like that. I mean, he was proper lived every game. He was desperate for us to go up. But I played football against Michael once in some tournament up at uni, and he's in the 90s.
He'll be about 50 now, 40 or 50.
He'll have been about 20 odd at the time, and Norman was stood at my goal post watching the game, and he was cracking jokes with me all the time because his son was playing, but he was a really lovely bloke, and I was making all these saves and then doing Bruce Forsyth poses after I'd made a save because I was just taking Mickey. He was laughing his head off, and he was saying, "Well, you might be making fun of him, but you made a few good saves there, lad, to be honest." And he was just a lovely fella, really.
So how's obviously the club have been, encouraging you to do it. How's the fans responded to it as well? So once you've got a few boxes up, there must have been a groundswell of fan interest.
I didn't realise people liked them until they got ruined, and then it were in Evening Post and in papers and everything. And there was just like this massive reaction of the entire letters section in the Evening Post was people saying, you know, this is a disgrace, we want Andy's art back up, we loved it, we loved it. Loads of people got in touch with hundreds of messages on Twitter from lovely things like, you know, me and my son, we would count down the boxes as we got closer to the stadium and go, what's coming next, David? Oh, it's that one, it's that one. They sent me loads of pictures they'd taken of their kids with them, you know, on the way to the grounds. And I never realised people said it's become part of the match day experience, you know, and you're like, wow, to think you'd sort of had an effect like that just by painting a box on a Tuesday night.
Well, the thing is, that's it. It just started out. It was just this. I mean, I think you told me that you started painting them boxes because you know you were basically you'd lost a friend of yours and you were feeling a bit depressed and stuff, and that was a way to kind of break out of the gloom or something.
Yeah, life had become shit. I mean, it's life. Like it's like life. A lot of things come at once, don't they? We all have bad times in life, don't we? And you know, little Grace died, and my sister's little girl died, and that was really hard to deal with. And my mate Scott of Frightened Rabbit, he were one of my favourite singers, and we become pals. And he took his own life, and then my mum got cancer, and everything came at once. And I for whatever reason, I live on my own, and you can spend too much time thinking, can't you? And you can sink a bit if you're not careful. And I don't know why, I just found that going out and painting when I was feeling rubbish just took my mind off it. You do something positive at the end of it, and you walk away thinking, well, I've left something nice there for people. And
the thing is, and so it didn't like start out with this kind of grand kind of marketing scheme. It wasn't, this might be a way to sort of get some fame, glory. It's obvious that the way you started it, that just from what the boxes said, that there was a kind of a love there and a pleasure, and it was just part of your life, and it was an extension of you. It was sharp, and it was warm, and it was cool, and it was somebody who was sussed. It was somebody who had sort of who'd been around Leeds for a while. Somebody who was into sort of the culture, football and music as well, and that reflected in the work, and it just sort of.
It was purely by accident. It was pure. I mean, some people in my situation might have gone to the gym to work things out, and some people go to the pub and drink too much. I don't really drink, and I don't know why it helped me painting. I've never done art before, really. I've never done any painting of any kind apart from decorating my front room, kind of thing. And I just found it very peaceful. I'd be down at Lowfields Road on a Tuesday night. I probably could have got mugged at any time. Do you know what I mean? It were crackers, really. But I just found it very therapeutic. And then people started stopping and going, oh, I really love it, and thank you so much for doing this. And you go,
so did that kind of reaction make you think, oh, this is serious now, I better kind of carry on, or I better...
Well, it became quite addictive as well. Like I said, it's kind of, some people find the other ways to get through life. It became quite addictive, and I just kept doing what I did, really, yeah. And it was lovely that people appreciated it so much. And
how long have they been going on then?
I think I've been doing the Leeds ones about a year and a half, maybe. But some of the very first ones we did, me and Ellen, they've still got dates on them, and it says 2016. I couldn't really remember when I did them, but you can still see a little bit of this. It's just faded away, the dates on them. So there is, when I do one now, I do think, Christ, I better make sure this is pretty good before I want to even really thinking about it too much.
Pressure's on then.
Yeah, a little bit.
Talking about that gave you some kind of solace and stuff, didn't it?
Yeah.
I can remember when I first discovered I could draw people, and I did a portrait of a friend of mine, and I was just sitting there in this laundrette with it, and I drew a picture, and I got such a shock because I'd done this drawing in biro. I'd done a portrait of somebody in biro, so there were no lines, no markers or guidelines. And then I went to the pub, and in Seacroft I thought, I'm going to try and make some money. So I said to her, look, we're going to go to Seacroft on Friday night and see if I can make some money in Seacroft. Because if I can make some money in Seacroft, which is like a hard place, then I can make some money anywhere. So we got on the bus from wherever it was, Beeston, and got up, and we turned up in Seacroft Town Centre. There's a big pub called the Melbourne. We got into this Melbourne pub, and I sat her down. I thought, I'd just try again and make sure it wasn't a fluke. So I drew her again just to sort of see if I could do it, and it worked. I thought, oh God, no, I've got it. Right, I'm going to have to ask somebody now. And there was a guy sitting opposite there in commando pants. So I went up and I said, hello, I do portraits. Would you like your portrait done? And he said, yeah. And so I sat down and I thought,
Oh Christ.
oh! So I drew him, and it worked. You know, and it wasn't a great drawing.
Yeah.
Because I'm drawing, I'm thinking, God, this is rubbish. I'm thinking, oh, what am I going to do? And he said, have you nearly finished? I said, yeah, well, not quite. You know, and like 15 minutes went past and 20 minutes passed. He said, have you nearly done? I said, yeah. And he says, well, can I have a look? And I showed it to him, and I was really nervous. I thought, you know, he might batter me if he doesn't, you know. and he looked at me, oh yeah, good, yeah. And he paid me the money. And then the next thing was half a dozen lads just queued up and said, he said, will you do me?
Right.
And so and then my friend was sitting, who come with me. She said, I'd never seen you look so happy. She said, I watched you there and you were just transported. And drawing for me gave me an escape.
Yeah,
kind
definitely.
And there is something compulsive about when you find something that kind of gives you a lift. And I just thought, this is it. It's like if you're a musician, you're constantly playing the guitar or the drums. But this gave me pleasure, and I held on to that. I thought, this is my lifeline. If I don't do this, I'll just sink back into depression.
No, I think it is a vital thing, and you need to find your thing in life, whatever it is, to give you that escape, don't you? I think I did a bit with drumming in bands and stuff before.
So did you always? Is that what you started with?
I've always been in bands since I was a kid, 15, 16, and I was in Esmeralda's Kite when we were young, and we had a little 7-inch out and all that kind of stuff.
Esmeralda's Kite.
Yeah, named after the Wasp Factory book.
Oh right, Ian Banks.
Ian Banks' book. Esmeralda's taken off into the sky with this massive kite. But I've always been in bands, I've always done my own stuff, and then you get to an age where you don't make it as a rock star, so you just end up in covers bands because you still want to play, and you actually get paid, which is a whole new novelty when you're trying to make it, you don't get paid.
So were you in a couple of bands at the same time then? Or?
I've been, I mean, just before lockdown, I'm in the Reeds, which is like a 60s covers band, which is pretty good. I was in a blues band with some really old fellas, old session musicians, called Mad Dogs and Yorkshiremen, doing blues and soul and stuff. I used to be in a band called Dirty Vinyls, where we did our own stuff. We nearly got a deal, we had interest and all that, but we ran out of energy in the end. But that was escapism, I suppose. And when you play in a song, you just lost that. That's a wonderful thing when you're in a song. You just, you could have the weight of the world on your shoulders, but for 3 minutes it's gone.
So why do you think it sort of people stop, or why do you think that sort of you gave up and said it's not going to work? Is it because like maybe a band you just don't get on with the people you're in? There's some musical differences.
I think you try for so long. I think you end up. I think there's a finite amount of time you can try and make it as a, in a band. I think doing your own stuff, and it costs you loads of money, and you're working full time at the same time. You're going to London, getting back at 5 a.m. and then going to work at 7, and it's. I think you need to not work if you're going to try and make it in a band. I think you look at bands like Oasis, and they were all on the door, weren't they? And they could rehearse. They could rehearse all day. They could do the gigs. You didn't have to get up in the morning for work. And I got old. You get older and stuff, and you run out of steam.
Were you a young dad?
No, I was 32, I think, when Danny was born. So that's kind of probably about average in it. But trying to do that and be a dad and be a full-time teacher was just too much in the end, really. And we nearly got there a couple of times, and then deals fell through, and you just lose your enthusiasm a little bit. But then you play some Beatles covers, and somebody gives you £80 each, and you go, "All right, cheers. We just murdered Ticket to Ride, and you actually paid me." It's just So, but yeah, I think that was my escape for a while, and then. And I think the painting's really helped, because in this lockdown we haven't been able to play, gig or anything, so I think the painting's kept me going in that respect as well, in the sort of escapism stakes, I think.
Well, we're similar. I mean, we've had to go for plan B, and Johnny's sort of teaching online and stuff, he's on his own. I'm here, and I've fallen back on my previous career as a portrait artist, and I picked up a pen again, and I've been drawing. And that's kind of, I'd forgotten just how much pleasure I got from being an artist, being a visual artist, that just because I've got nothing else.
Yeah.
And I look forward to picking up the pen and drawing somebody. At present I'm doing this book, and I'm drawing rock stars. I'm doing people like Todd Rundgren and Johnny Winter, and it's beautiful. I'm in this delicious situation where I can do, basically I'm writing about people that I'm absolutely sort of orgasm over. And I'm with my good mate who I've known for like 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about the people that we love, and I'm drawing them now. I'm drawing Count Arthur Strong and Eugene Chadbourne. And that's, I'm escaping into that through this really awful kind of malignant fog that we're in at the moment. Everybody has to have
Malignant Fog sounds like a prog rock band from about 1975, doesn't it, I think? It's bizarre that people call me an artist, and I still struggle with that sometimes, because like I said, I can't really draw stuff, but then some of the most famous artists in the world couldn't draw things, and it's kind of, sounds a bit cliched, but it's that thing of, if you want to have a go at it, just have a go and see what happens, you know what I mean? Because if I can become an artist, anyone can do art, really, do you know what I mean? It's kind of...
It's like a bit like a confidence trick, because when I turned up at art college in 1974, and I was so kind of lacking in confidence, I thought, well, I can't paint, I can't do sculpture, all I can do is just draw pencil drawings. I turned up and I found that 50% of the people there couldn't draw a chicken's egg. They were just there because they could sort of talk about conceptual art, or they were great bullshitters, you know.
There's a whole world of bullshitters out there who are blagging it, aren't there? I mean, you watch The Apprentice, my God, all those people are incompetent and they think they're the greatest thing in the world, and you think, God, well, it's all about confidence and how you portray yourself,
yeah,
isn't
there's
it?
a certain amount of it that's that, yeah. So never trust the confident man. So
yeah, it is a bit, yeah.
Because they might lead you down a track of disaster.
Track of disaster. I mean, if you want, talking about Leeds United, if you want me to do a portrait of Bielsa, it'd end up looking like Peter Beardsley, do you know what I mean? Or Quasimodo, or a combination of both, which would be an absolute disaster. But if you want me to do some kind of graphic-y design thing with words and badges and, maybe I'm quite good at putting that bit there and that bit there, and it's that composition, I suppose, isn't it? I suppose maybe I'm quite good at that, I don't know.
So do you think there's a lot of doubt in what people do in their day-to-day life, or what they want to try that's sort of is there with them constantly?
Yeah, I think so, and I've had that all my life, really. And I think maybe the good thing about this lockdown is people have tried a few things that they've always wanted to have a go at, and maybe didn't quite have the time or the inclination to, or the bottle to have a go at.
It's a good training period now.
Yes.
Because you can kind of rehearse this stuff.
Yeah.
So there's lots of people just having a go at writing. Or there's going to be an awful lot of, somebody said there's going to be an awful lot of crap books coming out over the next few months. But the thing is, so what? It's like there's no losses. You can't try and have a go at being a writer or a bread maker or something. And you've got to do something while we're in this limbo. So people are falling back on like my partner. She's doing mosaics at the moment.
Yeah.
She's got back to doing sort of art, and it's really heartening because instead of just sitting down and we'll go to the pictures, or we'll go out and have a meal, or we'll go watch the telly. She's got bored with that, and she said, I'm going to just do something to kind of distract myself from this awfulness. And so a lot of people are just doing that,
It's interesting how you like done the boxes rather than just thinking about it. Or I think you've actually gone out and done it, and it's quite really unique, and it's outdoors and it's visible. It takes a lot of confidence to do. I
suppose in a way, there were times when I'd be down there doing it, thinking, what on earth am I doing here? This is madness. No one's done this before, really. People might hate it. Why am I doing it? My mates used to say, you need to get a girlfriend. You need to you need to get laid. They used to say, Christ, and they used to take the mick. But I don't know why, it just brought me this kind of peace, I suppose. And then sometimes you need somebody in your life, I think, to give you that little bit of either what you can call it, kick up the backside, or a bit of confidence. A lad I know works in Leeds United shop. And he obviously deals with all the Leeds United products, and he just went, Andy, these boxes you do, you should get these on canvases. And I went, what are you on about? And he went, they'd sell, I'm telling you. And I went, I don't think so. And he went, Andy, we can sell out with Leeds United on it, basically. We could sell a lampshade if it's got a Leeds United badge on it, we could sell anything. And he said, your stuff is unusual. Get it on canvases. So he gave me a kick up the backside for me to, so I did one or two just thinking, and then they just sold immediately. And you're like, Christ, you were right.
Yeah.
But I'm quite thankful to him for just giving me that little shove.
You do need people to sort of give you a nudge. Jonny gives me a nudge quite a lot of the time. You know, they say, oh, why don't we just do, you know, and I'm thinking, oh, well, that's not going to work, you know.
Yeah.
The next thing, we do it, and it works, you know, and I was selling bloody beer. And
your stuff is
available online.
Your stuff's insane. I mean, there's nobody like. We all love your band and your music because it's totally unique. It's. I can't even describe your stuff to people. I don't even know what to say to them. But it must have taken a bit of bottle to take those kind of crazy songs and put them out there, maybe. And people love it, don't they? And every time I get somebody to come to one of your gigs saying you must come and see Mik and Jonny do this stuff, they go, what's it like? And I go, oh, there's no point in telling you, just come. And they always come away going, that's the best night out I've had in years. And you know, it must have taken a bit of courage to make that step with your.
No, it's just you just basically life shapes what you are.
Yeah.
And I started out as a kid with a love of music. I loved the Beatles and the Stones, and I was watching these daft films like A Hard Day's Night, watching the Goons, and listening to to Spike Milligan and Monty Python, and also listened to Cream and the Moody Blues and all this, and then watching comedy like Monty Python or whatever, and a lot of it just filtered in, and you don't know what's going on in your head half the time. You're busy getting on with your work, you're whatever studying, or you've been day to day doing a job but there's another world that's going on. There's like a sort of a gremlin in there that's thinking, ooh, it's cooking away, hatching plots, to change the world, and you're unaware of it. The next thing you find yourself, wow, I can do this. I didn't realise I could hold a crowd. I got up on stage once because I'd heckled this band in a pub, and they said, well, you get up and do something. And I just got up, and I wasn't really sure what to do, but I just started to talk about smoking and about playing pinball. And I thought, well, this must sound deranged. And I'm thinking, there's nowhere to hide now. I'm stuck. I'm down as the madman who walked into the pub and that's that mad guy who comes in and he's talking. And I did this. I thought it's too late now, and I just carried on. And then I finished, and I waited to be crucified, and they just cheered. so it's going to be and I thought, well, I can be mad. I don't mean mad, but I can follow my path. I have a strength, and you find these things out by being brave. Or just by thinking, I'm going to do this, even if people don't like it.
I mean, look at your song, Sweet Leaf the North, right? I mean, I've been in bands all my life that just play normal rock songs and da-di-da, but you've come up with this song about a leaf stuck in a windscreen wiper. It takes a bit of bottle to put that out there, really. But everyone loves that, so, people sing along at Glastonbury. It's Iggy Pop's favourite song of the decade or something, is it?
Yeah.
So, that just shows you, doesn't it, that if you've got a bit of bravery to put something out that's different and original and unique, and it takes a bit of bottle, you end up with one of the world's greatest rock gods listing it as his favourite song of the decade. I mean, that's a wonderful little story in itself, isn't it, I think?
So how does that, because it's for us and for you in the sense that when someone else outside of your circle gives you some kind of validation, it sort of changes your self-perception of what you're doing. So people now consider you an artist. So is that a surprise to you?
I'm laughing at that now. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's straight. I can't get my head around it because, like I said, I can't really draw. And if I drew this cup of tea here, it would probably look like I don't know what. But But I've got this mate, Si, who's really good with me, and he says, Andy, it doesn't matter that, you know. As long as it looks good, it doesn't matter whether you've got this incredible skill out of draw or stuff. It's just whether people connect with it in whatever way. That's what art is, isn't it? Mike Rothko painted blank canvases, didn't he? I don't understand that, me. I don't get it. But they sold for millions of pounds, so they obviously connected with somebody.
So I think that's what we find is like being on stage is a connection with your audience or with your fans, and it's the same for you. And it's we want to make a connection. That's what we want to do.
It is a lovely feeling, isn't it? And like I said, to know that my boxers are part of somebody's match day, and you know, I'm a single dad and that, so there's loads of single dads who go to the game with their kids and they only maybe see them at the weekend. So football becomes this important event in that weekend, and if I'm part of that important event for a dad and his lad or his daughter, that's a lovely thing, really. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't think anyone would want to buy it. I mean, you know, I've got these mugs and phone cases that sell on the terrace. They make like football merchandise and stuff. We sold hundreds of them.
That's great.
You know, you'll see some lad in a shop with your phone case, and you're like, God,
It's such a buzz.
It's really weird. You think, I did that in my living room when Coronation Street were on or something. And he's like, he's got it on his phone case, and you're like, I don't say all that but it's a kind of a little buzzy feeling, isn't it?
Of course, because you don't expect it. I remember seeing my little tote bag in Australia on some beach. Somebody was there, on the beach, sunning themselves there. They've got Sweet Leaf of the North bag. They're just sitting there with a towel in it, and it's in Australia.
But I love it, that story of the adversity, the leaf hanging on has gone across to Australia, because we all have found ourselves in that leaf situation.
There was a little. We played Liverpool. We go down there fairly regular, but there's a couple of people. There's a woman called Maria Farquhar, I think she's called, but her partner. He said, that song's mine, it's not yours.
Did he?
He said, I played that song more times last year. He said, I had a really bad year, he said, the year before, and I used to go out outside the house, get into the car, close the door, put the CD on and play Sweet Leaf of the North. And I played it every day for about a year, and it got me through last year. He said, so it's not your song, it's my song, because I played it more times than you are probably,
But that's what you want for your song, it becomes somebody else. That's an incredible compliment, isn't it? That your song touches something like that. It is amazing, isn't it?
It becomes part of the furniture.
Yeah. All the best songs do, don't they?
Yeah. So basically, you've left your mark in the world.
Yeah.
You're embedded in
like
England.
A Mik Artistik
in English culture,
footprint.
like on a steak kidney pie. There's Burley Banksy, So it's just something, and it just comes kind of almost like naturally. It doesn't. There's no kind of like obvious kind of like. It's not considered. It's just a kind of. It starts off. It's got its own sweet little way, and it began as a whim. It's something really small and really kind of innocent, and people get that. There's something really precious about it.
We've always everyone's experienced hanging on, haven't they? Hanging on when things are terrible, and to symbolise it all with this little leaf and a windscreen wiper is just genius. I think you lads have helped me out loads of times. I mean, there's times where I've come to your gigs and I've felt like, awful, depression, all that kind of stuff. And you're like, me and my friend Vic always say that Mik Artistik's ego trip should be on the NHS, because you come to a gig and you forget everything for 2 hours, whatever it is. And every gig's different, because half of your songs are improvised or big bits of them are improvised. And he goes off on a rant, doesn't he, Jonny, about some crazy... He goes off and you're looking at him going, right, when do I come in with this bit? And it's like a therapy, you're like musical Prozac, I think, to a lot of people. You are to me and Vic anyway, I'm sure they are to lots of other people.
Well, I mean, it kind of, we're involved in I get as much probably as you do, because I'm not kind of up there dispassionately kind of.
No.
I'm completely kind of in that mix and the melt, and I come off elated after a gig, because I've been escaping from my nightmares and my whatever problems, and I'm just a child. I'm there. Johnny's there giving me license to run around, or Greg or Sam, whoever it was, and we're like.
Johnny's the dad doing the serious stuff, keeping it together.
No, he's not. He's not Johnny. Johnny's Jonny's
A bird bath.
his Professor Flockton. He's tweaking the tweaking the dials or whatever. Yeah, he's the science of the band.
So where do you see your boxes going now then? He said that you might be doing some murals in the stadium. What's the future for your work?
I hope this comes off that I do some in the stadium, because that'd be amazing. And to think your art's in your favourite place in the world, Ellen Road, would be pretty amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm getting lots of like private commissions. People want me to paint bedroom walls and garden sheds and man caves. And I think in lockdown, loads of blokes have started building man caves to keep themselves sane. So there's loads of that. Who knows? I mean, there's loads of Leeds connection now with Argentinian football and Latin American football, because of Bielsa being from South America and stuff. And you just think, I wonder if somebody want me to go over to Argentina and paint like some kind of Leeds United Argentina mural or something. That'd be incredible, wouldn't it? I don't know if that'll happen really. That's a dream.
Well, the thing is that every possibility of that stuff will happen, because you're out there in the mix, and the people are aware of the Burley. You know, you can Google Burley and you get Banksy after it. You know? So basically you're there on Google as a sort of as a hit, and
it's bizarre how big I mean, we all know football is a big thing, but the reach of it is enormous. Since we got promoted, I've done interviews with Chilean journalists, Indian journalists, Argentinian, you know, everyone has seen the art. You know, they've seen the boxes. Like, I've done them in Beeston, for God's sake, and they've seen it over in Santiago. And
it's crazy. It's social media and the internet.
It's mad, and I'm doing something with Sunday Times tomorrow, and you're like, how's this happened? But I don't know where it'll go in the end. I mean, who knows? But football will always carry on, and Leeds United, so hopefully it will be a long-term thing, because Leeds United is always going to be here, isn't it? So
if people are not aware of your work, where can they see it, and how can they get in touch with you to commission you?
Well, I've done a website now. I've got burleybanksy.com. So my friend helped me set that up, because I haven't got a clue what I'm doing with all that kind of stuff. But there's all pictures on there of, you can buy stuff on there, canvases, and you can get in touch with me there on doing commissions and stuff. And there's pictures of stuff I've done before, private commissions, and I've done stuff for mural for the EFL, and done stuff for Mind, mental health charity, and that kind of thing. So it's all on burleybanksy.com basically. And if you want a mug, it's the Terrace, I think it's the terracestore.com, I'm not sure. You can buy a Bielsa cushion and rest your head on God himself.
What have you done? Have you drawn Bielsa? Have you done like?
Well, they've taken my image, my In Bielsa We Trust image, and they've put it on. And there's all the other boxes you can get on mugs. We all love Leeds boxes and all that kind of stuff. So buy a cushion with God on it if you want.
Okay. Thank you, Andy McVeigh, for coming on the Ego podcast, and thanks to you listeners for tuning in. Andy McVeigh, the Burley Banksy, continues his painting tour of the city, and he's working on canvases now. And he's also doing some mural work with schools. For further details, go to www.burleybanksy.com. And if you want to listen to this podcast again, you can download it on iTunes, Mik Artistik's Ego Podcast. Further links can be found on our website, mikartistik.com. See you on the road and on the waves next time. Bye. Ego